Hey, I have eczema and I am healing. Every day is a struggle. I used to use topical steroids and I had been using them for about, I think around a decade. Y'all, I am editing right now and I realize that I twitch my eyes so much. I will work on this. But at the same time, this is me, so just letting you know, I am aware. I have been struggling with eczema and just dry skin in general for a while now. The dry skin only really started when I got into middle school, high school, and then from there the eczema started. And eczema is just this, I guess, umbrella term for all these different skin ailments. If you go online, there's a number of specific conditions under the heading of eczema. I'd say I've seen 20 to 30 different doctors, dermatologists. That's not a flex. That's me saying that no one has the answer. There's no cure for this, or no known cure really. About a year ago, my girlfriend stumbled upon, through a coworker, the medical medium, Anthony William. I kind of brushed it off. I was like, what? Like, through diet I could change my skin, like celery juice in the morning? And sure enough, a year later I quit my job and I started going my own route of doing things I wanted to do, and here I am now. And at the same time, I decided I wanted to stop using these topical steroids because I realized I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no cure and I'm just supposed to use these steroids for the rest of my life? Like, that's crazy to think about. And it's not even a cure, it's just like you use them for 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off, even though I use them for longer than that, for definitely lots of periods of times, and I'm sure people can attest to that. And I realized I was eating shit foods and I wanted to change that too, so I decided to just stop all the steroids. And I heard recently that maybe when you're on steroids you should probably wean off of them, but like I said, it was kind of a 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off type thing for me. So I was just like, well, I guess I'll just stop. I did the celery juicing every morning on an empty stomach for a while. There were 2 weekends where I couldn't because I was away just away from home and didn't have access to a juicer, didn't think to bring it. But yeah, I've been juicing for probably about 1.5, 2 months now. And I've really honed in on the celery juice cleanse, which is lemon water, celery juice, and then just fat-free until dinner, really fat-free, low-fat as possible. So a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, dates, which I'll talk about, and then recipes, which I'll also post about on medical medium website, and anything that follows that protocol, which is not eating foods like not eating foods like corn, soy, gluten, eggs, dairy, that kind of stuff. Ever since I've started, it feels like my skin has just gotten progressively worse. I've had more, I guess, problem areas or eczema in more areas than I've ever had before, all through my arms, my neck especially, around my mouth, my chest, behind my knees. Thankfully, other than behind my knees, my legs haven't been affected too badly just yet. But over the last 1.5 to 2 months, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And everyone says sometimes it gets worse before it starts getting better. So I just keep pushing through and keep believing that this is going to work, and that this holistic approach, this natural approach, which is essentially mainly through diet and also exercise and sleep and meditation, that I will heal. And I say that to myself every day. I have an affirmation and I say, I am healing, I am loved, I'm beautiful, I'm healthy, I'm grateful, and I have clear skin. And that's so hard, but I've read and seen so many people and heard so many people saying that, like, sometimes you just gotta say what you want to believe is true to make that true. Like the habit of saying the same thing over and over again, eventually over time, it becomes your belief system, and it becomes, second nature. And so I would just post pictures. This is what I look like right now, or this is basically the worst that I have ever seen it. And as you look at these photos, I just want to say that I'm not trying to gross you out or anything like that. Like, I want to not necessarily normalize this, but I guess shed to light that this thing that affects, I think, like over 30 million Americans, and I'm sure people around the world, it doesn't define you, and it doesn't mean that you're not gonna heal. It is something that I hope that we can one day overcome, and if that means changing my diet for the better, really, that's amazing. You know, I used to stuff my face with pizza and I love fried chicken, you know, and greasy foods and meats and junk food. I love snacks. I'm such a diehard munchies fan, and I would wonder, like, why am I breaking out? Like, why do I have these patches of skin? Why am I itchy? Why am I red? You know, why am I dry and flaky? And then looking back at that now, I'm kind of like, well, what have you been eating, you know? And the funny thing is, all these dermatologists and all these doctors that I've seen, none of them ever were like, hey Han, like, what's your diet like? You know, are you exercising? Do you get enough sleep? It was always just like, okay, you have this, all right, well, we have these steroid creams, we have these topical ointments, let's see what works. It was, you know, it was always just a quick fix. It was never like, well, let's go deeper, what's going on under the hood. And so I want to try this as much as I can, even though it is so hard. I hope maybe this can help some of y'all. Cooler weather helps. Like, I'm kind of cold right now in this is my girlfriend's room, and I'm kind of cold in here right now doing some editing, but it helps because I'm cold, I don't want to scratch. Like, my body's more worried about the fact that I'm cold than I am itchy. I'm in New York right now, and last week the weather just started getting crazy colder out of nowhere, and we took out the AC from my room. Hey, Editing Han here to explain. My girlfriend and I live together. We have separate rooms and we have roommates. We tend to spend most of our time in one room though. Around that time, starting that night, I just woke up in the middle of the night itching, scratching. Couldn't go to sleep for like 3 hours. It was crazy, it was bad. Then every night got a little bit better, but then 2 nights ago it got really bad, and I have this balm. I have this balm that I got from the Home Herbalist, and I just had them around, but I didn't want to use them because I didn't really know what the ingredients were and stuff like that. But 2 nights ago it was just so bad I couldn't go to sleep, and so my girlfriend helped me just apply it all over to the problem areas, which are essentially my entire upper front torso, arms and neck, and a little bit of my face, and wrapped with gauze, and just put a shirt on and went to sleep eventually. So that helped, and I was able to fall asleep. And I don't have a picture from that night, but I do have a picture from last night, or pictures of what that kind of looked like. You can imagine what the rest of my body covered would have looked like. I looked into it yesterday because I wanted to find out, you know, what are the ingredients, and also I realized yesterday, like, the stuff doesn't really come off easily. It's a balm. So I messaged them, so I'm still waiting to hear back. But also I looked in the ingredients, and everything is pretty much okay, medical meeting protocol, except one thing, which is apple cider vinegar powder. And I read that they actually don't list the ingredients on their containers because they're made to order. So if I wanted something without, like, let's say the apple cider vinegar powder or whatever else, then they could just take it out and then make it with the rest of the ingredients. So that's really cool of them, but I didn't know that going into it. That was stupid of me. So I'm back to using argan oil. So today I took a shower and I just rubbed my entire body, mainly just my face and my neck and my upper torso with argan oil. And something I noticed also is when I use the oil, I use a very, what's the word I'm looking for? I use more than enough, because I noticed that when I wasn't, me rubbing the oils on my skin was creating heat due to the friction. So I applied a generous amounts to my body so that it you know, it is oily, but like, I'll do whatever it takes to not have this itchy skin all the time. along with that, I've been using castor oil. Shout out to my friend Morgan for recommending that. That's really helped a lot to really repair my lips because they're constantly peeling. And like I said, like one of the hugest problem areas was actually my mouth, and I'll show pictures of what that looked like and how bad that got. I think one weekend I headed out to Austin to go to Austin City Limits with my girlfriend and a friend, and it got really bad. And I think that was definitely a lot due to not drinking the celery juice that weekend, that 3-4 day weekend, and not being hydrated enough. So I've come a long way. At that point, it was like, I couldn't even open my mouth all the way to like eat food. It was like razor blades had cut into my lips. It was crazy. It was a lot. So now, you know, I've been eating a lot of fruits and vegetables raw, and also very low fat, so very little oil as possible, you know, really just following that medical medium protocol. I was on a hunt for dates. Went to Whole Foods, and I cannot tell you how many times I looked at the ingredients for stuff and it would say may contain traces or was in a factory that was making like nuts, soy, corn, like whatever. And yesterday I finally found some dates at Trader Joe's, and this is the packaging, but there's nothing here, and I'm sure they don't want to get sued, so it's just dates. And I found them. They're really good, actually. They're pitted, but you know, I don't mind. They could be pitted or not. I found them where all the berries are, if y'all are looking for them, and they're delicious. So I'm eating these dates. And yeah, so this is the first video. I want to continue this because even though it's hard to look at myself in the mirror sometimes, and even though, you know, like my parents have seen me and they're just like, they feel bad because, like, you know, and like even my girlfriend feels bad because like there's nothing they can do for me. It's just me. Like, I gotta heal from the inside. And so this is where I wanted to start. Hey, coming at you, final note from editing Han. Say what you need to say, Han. I just want to mention, I'm obviously not medically trained whatsoever. Do not take my words as fact. Like, I'm just letting y'all know that I'm just trying this shit, okay? I'm just disclaiming because I don't know if it works, but I believe that it will work. Like, I'm just believing it, you know, I'm hoping that it will. And most important is that I'm trying and that y'all see if this works, because so many people have healed, but I haven't seen progressions in real time, really. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to hear me out. To anyone out there right now who is suffering, who's in pain, you are not alone, and this does not define you. I am here for you, and we are here for you. This is a group effort, you know, we're all in this together. So much love to y'all. I will see y'all soon.